I got my cup of coffee. I got my books. Let's chat. So, I know it's been a minute. I think it's been like 2 months since I last uploaded. My whole family was sick. I was sick. I didn't have any voice, and then I didn't have any energy, and then I didn't want to film, and then the new year happened, and then life happened, and now we're here. So hi, welcome back. Thanks for being here. I'm happy you stuck around, or if you're new, welcome. I am Plant Lady Reads. So, what are we talking about today? I wanted to chat about my favorite author. Well, one of, but I think she's my favorite author, at least for now. R.F Kuang. I have all of her books. Have I read all of them? Yes, except for the short story collection. Did I rate all of them at least 5 stars and most of them 5? Also, yes. Am I absolutely enamored with everything she writes? Does even her Instagram posts make me want to be a writer like she is, even though I have like nowhere near the mental capacity that she has? Yeah. So I thought we'd make a video about her since we are in 2025, the year of Katabasis. Katabasis. I don't know how to say it, but and I keep seeing people on my Bookstagram there are 200 out in the world, but I keep seeing people getting the arc, and every time I physically gasp, like, ah! And yeah, I'm nowhere near having an arc, and I know, and it's okay. I placed a pre-order. I'm gonna get it this fall, but it's my most highly anticipated read for the year, so I thought I'd try to convince at least one other person to read her books, because she's one of the best writers out there at the minute. So grab a drink. We'll chat about R.F Kuang. I'm gonna go through the books quickly with a short summary and why you should read it, because I think one of her talents is that she writes perfectly in all of the genres that she does write, because she's not one of those writers that always sticks to the same genre. She's all over the place, and I think she succeeds every time she branches out, and I don't know how she does it. Another thing I like about her is her intelligence. I like how her books is so well researched, but it's not necessarily heavy to read. I like how intelligent they are, but they're not condescending. I like how I feel like I've learned something every time I close one of her books. I like that I feel like I'm a better reader when I read her books. I like that she's so young, so we're most likely going to get so many books from her, or at least I hope that she sticks to writing. We don't know. But at least we've got those, so I'm good. I could reread these forever. It's fine. But I do wish I'd have like a bajillion more. So, I first read her books when I got one of my favorite books of all time, Yellowface, a year ago. When was this out? 2 years ago. This book. It broke my brain in the best way. If you haven't read it, this is kind of a thriller, literary thriller, I'd say. And it's about a protagonist, a highly unlikable protagonist, which is one of my favorite tropes. She has a frenemy that, they're both writers, and she's a frenemy with one of the most famous writers of their time, and they go out. They go for a night, and the famous writer eats a pancake and chokes on it and dies. And so our protagonist, June, decides to steal her manuscript and make it her own. The thing is that the author that died was Asian. June is white. Hence, Yellowface. And you just follow June along her literary journey, and she is insufferable, she is unlikable, but she's also so many other things. She's multifaceted, and it's just a fascinating read. It's super fast paced. You just get to be in the head of someone. Just, I don't know how you are, but to me, so different from who I am. And it's a fascinating read, and I know it's a bit of a polarizing read, but to me, 5 stars. I'd reread it. I'd recommend it to everyone. At least it'll make you think. So that's Yellowface. And then I went in Babel or Babel. I never know which one is the right one. This is a thick one. This is dark academia fantasy, urban fantasy, and this one is a special one because it's one very thick, one very interesting, and weirdly like a page turner, even though it's a thick book and it's full of footnotes. So I was super intimidated before going in. And what I like to do with books that intimidate me is leave them on my shelf for way too long and then pick them up and combine them with the audio. So at least when I start the book, I know how to say the names, I know how the story is supposed to go. So it helps my brain go into it easier. And that's what I did with this one. And I ended up tandem reading it the whole time with the audiobook. And honestly, I'd recommend that to anyone who has this on their shelf and are hesitating to read it. The audiobook is really good. The story of this is about an orphan, an Asian orphan that gets adopted by a British man and brought to Babel, which is at Oxford, to learn translation to help Eastern Europe. Not Eastern Europe, sorry, just Europe. And yeah, it's set in 1828. And yeah, it's about the British Empire, it's about colonialism, it's about language, it's about culture, it's about racism, it's about history, it's about how we are as humans, how we are as a society. It's about so many things. And how can I say this? There are different types of reader. I'm not one who usually enjoys historical fantasy. I find it tedious. And this one just, I think I read it in 2 days. So, not tedious. And, quick sip of coffee. It's, I think for each level of reading attention, intelligence, I don't know how to properly say it, you're gonna get something out of it anyway. Like, I think someone that would study this in university would get something out of it. I think someone that's just gotten into reading would get something out of it. And I think somewhere in the middle, we all get something out of it. And it's gonna be different for everyone. And I think that's the point. And I think that's what's so amazing about it. So did I give it 5 stars? Yeah. How surprising. And then I had this lovely trilogy on my shelf. I had it for a while because it's so pretty with the colors. And I like pretty books. All her books are pretty. And they all stick on the top of my shelf because they're all the best. And I was scared of that one because it's fantasy, but it's gruesome, it's gritty, it's hard, and I'm not always up to reading something so dark. I like horror, I like all of this, but it's just not something that I can pick up at any time. Have to be in the right moment. And last fall, I decided to finally dive in. And I binged the whole series in about a month. I couldn't put it down. So it's the first book that she ever published. It's The Poppy War, so that's the first one. The second one is The Dragon Republic, so book 2. And book 3 is The Burning God. They all follow, what's her name? Rin? Well, I'll just read you the tagline: the peasant, student, soldier, goddess. So that's basically it. It's epic fantasy. It's again about culture, colonialism, but it's got magic. It's got different types of powers. I don't even know how to describe it. It's so good. It's such a powerful read. This whole trilogy. It doesn't happen often. The first book in the trilogy is my like is one that just tugs at my heartstrings. Usually in these types of fantasy, you get that feeling like further along you read, but this one, I just Rin just got a piece of my heart. She's also a bit of an unlikable character, and as you can see, I enjoy that. And you get to follow her along as she learns about her world, the different gods, and what's the shamanic powers that some people can have, and yeah. So that's what the first book is about. The second book is about the Poppy Wars. It follows Rin along as she continues to learn more about her gods and the monsters and the world, and how does she want to fit in that. And The Burning God is the ending of that trilogy, so civil war, but also personal growth or not. And the relationships and the found family and everything that's in between those types of books, and the commentary in all of her books, but in this series particularly, is just so good. Lastly, we have this one, which is the best American science fiction and fantasy of 2023. I haven't read it yet. R.F Kuang was the editor on this one. I'm not even sure that she has a story in that one. Let me check. No, she wrote the foreword, but I don't. No, she doesn't have a story in it. But since I'm such a fangirl, I thought if she put her stamp on approval on this, I need to read it. So I thought I'd include it in this video, because if you want to be doing a deep dive on R.F Kuang before Katabasis, I'm for sure going to put this on my TBR for this year. So, as a recap, let's go with publishing order, if I'm not mistaken. So we have The Poppy War, The Dragon Republic, and The Burning God. Babel, or Babel, this anthology, and Yellowface. So that brings us to this wonderful collection and pile of books that I love. So colorful. And I absolutely cannot wait to read Katabasis. I'm not even sure of the plot. I usually go in blind to my books, but I think it's dark academia, which perfect for fall. And anything that she writes, I mean, she could write romance and I eat it up. So that's it. That's what I had to say today. If you like this, I could do deep dives in other authors. Just let me know. If I've read a lot of them, I can talk to them. I can talk about them. But if I haven't, I can also do a deep dive in other authors. It's what I do. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like and subscribe. Thank you. And I'm hopefully going to post about the 160 books I read in 2024 soon. I just have to find the time to film the video. So thanks for watching until the end. And if you did, leave a yellow heart just for me. Thanks. Bye.